I'm Britt.
Michael.
I'm Haley.
I'm Raul.
In the article, Gene Therapy Shows Promise, published in 2009, a UCLA professor discusses the recent discoveries made in the gene therapy field of science. One of these discoveries was the use of a viral detector in order to insert the corrected gene into the cells. One condition that this was used to cure is the HIV virus. In one of the first studies done by scientists, they found that gene therapy had the ability to suppress the virus for extended periods of time. After analysis of the results, they determined that it would be possible to cure individuals with the HIV virus by using a different vector.
In 2002, news network New Scientist published an article titled "Gene Therapy Cures Bubble Boy," detailing the life of a young boy with severe combined immunodeficiency disease and how gene therapy changed his life. SCID is a genetic disorder that modifies base pairs on the X chromosome, mutating the gene responsible for creating T cells. Without T cells, the boy was not able to fight off infectious bacteria, which put this boy in a bubble. By using a modified retrovirus and inserting it into the boy's stem cells, the boy was able to go back home with working T cells after 7 months of treatment. The successful use of gene therapy has transformed a young boy's life in the best way possible.
In 2017, Fox News published an article titled "Boy Living in Bubble Develops Leukemia from Experimental Therapy." This was about a boy who participated in a British study on the effectiveness of gene therapy for treating X-SCID, who developed leukemia as a result of his treatment. X-SCID refers to an X-linked genetic condition that causes a failure in immune system development. It's often referred to as bubble baby syndrome because those who have the condition have to be kept in sterile environments. It is a known risk that the insertion of the replacement DNA can promote the development of cancer. When deciding to choose whether or not you want to do gene therapy, you must take into account how the possible risk could affect the person based on their condition and medical history.
In 2014, an article, Gene Doping, Sport's Biggest Battle, discussed the effects of gene therapy would have on sports as it becomes more widespread. As advances are being made in gene therapy, such as fixing muscle deterioration, it becomes easier to think about athletes and how they could abuse this. Dr. Morlier did research and created an EPO gene which produces the body's red blood cells. A problem is that while drugs can be detected, how will artificial genes be detected, as once they are implemented into the body, they will then begin to produce their own hormones, making it undetectable. After Morlier had published his research, he was swarmed by cyclists who were very keen to use this gene. Even though the technology was at research level, they didn't care. Eventually, the gene became readily available on the internet, as the RBC count could grow uncontrollably, thickening the blood into sludge. While WADA claims to have technology to detect gene doping, the problem still stands that as it becomes more widespread, athletes can get it over the counter, and how could this be prevented? Another breakthrough was made by Professor Lee Sweeney on slowing muscle deterioration for extremely sick people. He had the same problem with being swarmed by athletes and coaches for the gene. The athletes and coaches were willing to risk their careers even though the gene was in its early stages for development. The problem, if these genes are made readily available, is that where the line would be drawn to the point where these genes are considered to enhance the performance of athletes. If gene therapy continues on its current path, then the meaning of sports will completely change in years to come.
Gene therapy is a treatment that has been successful in the past. An X-SCID patient in London was one of many to drastically improve health from it. He fully recovered from his disease after 7 months of treatment and gained new T cells.
While gene therapy is effective in curing the current genetic conditions, it can also cause new issues, such as that same boy later developed leukemia due to his treatment.
80% of people who develop leukemia from this have made a full recovery.
In this case, that was true. However, in a French study, 4 out of 11 children who received the treatment died.
Gene therapy does have a lot of potential because it can cure lots of different diseases.
Along with all these possible cures, it also offers a wide range of risks.
That is understood, and we think it should be left up to the family whether they want to use gene therapy or not.
Gene therapy is an emerging field of medicine, and it gives people that previously faced certain death or very low quality of life hope that they can reach a treatment.
While it does give some people hope, other people have also died from this, as seen in the previous decade. So how will you solve this problem?
Well, obviously, some more research is needed, but we need to have volunteers who understand the risks and think that the benefits outweigh the risks. Volunteer for studies to develop better gene therapy.
But even when you have people who are volunteering, the research has been going very slowly, which is why some people have died and some people are having skepticism about this.
Research has been going so slowly because we limit the number of volunteers that are allowed to be part of these studies. If we put fewer regulations on who can be part of these studies, research will accelerate and we'll get treatments much quicker.
So as it becomes more widespread, athletes will start to use this way more. So how would you regulate how they would be able to use it, and if at all, where would you draw the line to where you would stop the use of it?
Well, you would need government regulation to regulate who can use gene therapy, and obviously you wouldn't want people able-bodied people to use gene therapy to get ahead in athletics, but you don't want people falling behind genetic and chromosomal disorders falling behind, and you want to be able to treat those that have low quality of life.
It's a new medical intervention that offers hope to many because it can cure genetic disorders that could not previously be treated.
Although more research is needed on gene therapy, it is an innovative new field of medicine and should have more exploratory tests done on patients.
Gene therapy is an expensive treatment, making a socioeconomic divide between patients who can afford it and who can't.
As gene therapy becomes more widely available, athletes across the globe will be able to use this unfairly, enhancing their abilities, and a line would need to be drawn as to where these drugs would be stopped.
Because he cannot be exposed to outside bacteria. Wait, stop it.
You have more exploratory.
How if it becomes more widespread?
What do I say? Gene therapy is a very complex new... What even is it? Every condition that can be cured, there's also a risk and possible effect.